Hey, what is up, YouTube fam? It's Ben here, back with another video. As always, we got fresh content every Wednesday and Sunday, so please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to keep building our practices together. So today we are continuing the beginner series and pose breakdowns, and we are going to take a dive into Tadasana, known as mountain pose. So I'm finding myself in my Tadasana, in my mountain pose right now. It's a very neutral position. It's in almost every class, and it's a really nice shape where we're able to find stability, work on our foundation, work on our posture, and just find a connection between our bodies and the earth as we build stability. So there's no muscles in this shape that we want to engage a lot, but there's a lot of muscles that we want to very subtly engage a little bit, just so that we have good posture. And another reason we practice Tadasana is because this is a shape we're often in when we move through the world. So it allows us to find some really nice structural alignments and some mindfulness about how we stand up, so that when we go through the day, we're able to work on those same postures. And even when we're just standing up, maybe at a market or during our work, we're able to find some of that moments of mindfulness and connection even through the daily adventures. But even more so during an asana practice, oftentimes we'll pause in Tadasana at the top of our mat during a challenging sequence, and that again allows an opportunity for pause and connection. So diving right into kind of the structural alignments of Tadasana, we're standing straight up. We allow our palms to blossom open, and we find a very neutral positioning. I'll do what I usually do and start from the feet and rise the awareness back up the body until we have everything covered. So our feet are hips width distance apart. Some schools of yoga will bring the feet closer together, and in my opinion, that's not quite what we're looking for, because when the feet are close together, it puts a little bit more strain on the knees. It's not necessarily as stable or as malleable of a shape. It's harder to move from this shape into different positions, but when our feet are hips width distance apart, it gives us that strong base. Our knees are in alignment with our ankles, which are in alignment with our hips, and everything kind of just gives us that nice strength here. So hips width distance apart, we're putting most of our weight into the heels of the feet, and the rest of the weight is sort of in the knuckle of the big toe and also right below the knuckle of the pinky toe. So kind of forming a little triangle of where we're pressing the weight down, but about 2/3 of the weight is going to be pressing into the heels. The toes, you can even float off the mat and then re-ground down, and kind of mindfully just pressing down a tiny bit into your big toe and noticing the strength that that creates. So the feet are pressing down and creating a grounding sensation. Everything else is kind of lifting up and working against gravity. We want subtle engagements in the calves, subtle engagements in the quads and hamstrings, just to keep our legs strong. The pelvis is neutral, the spine is neutral, our center of gravity is kind of right in our core here, right above the pelvis, almost where our belly button is located, all the way from the belly button to the spine. That's where our center of gravity is. And when it comes to the shoulders, we want to externally rotate at the shoulders, and that allows us to have the soft parts of the elbows facing forward, and it allows the palms to blossom open. So once we externally rotate in the shoulders to open, the shoulder blades are going to plug onto the back body. They're going to plug onto kind of the back part of our rib cage on our upper back, and we're going to relax the shoulders away from the ears. So creating a state of strength by externally rotating and opening in the chest, but also a relaxation when we pull the shoulders down. The neck is neutral. We want to kind of just gaze right out in front of us or close our eyes. And it's very important to find that lift in the chest, because it's natural to want to slouch over a little bit, whether we're in Tadasana or whether we're just standing, in line at the grocery store, slouch a little bit, maybe text on our phone. When we slouch over, we decrease our lung capacity, we decrease the capacity for our diaphragm to expand and contract. So when we find that slouched position, we're not able to breathe as fully, we're not able to breathe as effectively. And in terms of yoga, the breath is so important. When we're not able to breathe effectively, we're not really able to move through these shapes with as much energy. We're not able to digest food as well if we're not breathing in a full capacity. it really has a profound effect. So by opening up the chest, shoulder blades plugging back, opening in the arms, palms blossoming, we're able to find this nice opening shape. There's tons of space for us to breathe into our diaphragm, our belly, and our lungs. So just finding that nice shape as the head remains neutral, and we feel the head kind of slightly extending up toward the top of the room just to create a little bit more length. So that's Tadasana. I encourage you to maybe find a nice strong Tadasana and just take a few deep breaths and notice how it feels to be mindful when we're standing up, not just standing up for the sake of doing so, but really doing so in a way that creates a link between our mind and body in a way that makes us a little bit more conscious of where the weight is pressing down and just how the body feels in space in a neutral position. So that's Tadasana. As always, thank y'all so much for tuning in. There are more of these videos on the way. We're gonna break down poses, we're gonna break down sequences, and we'll continue growing our journeys together. So let me know in the comments what you wanna see, like the video if this was useful, and please subscribe. Let's keep growing our practices together. Until next time, have such a beautiful rest of your day. Peace and love.